Strap is all we need today. Maybe some blocks. If you want to sit on a blanket, we'll be seated for a little while, up to you completely. Um, just begin in a nice, easy Sukhasana pose. So, crossing one leg in front of the other, letting the hips open up, maybe wiggling the shoulders here a bit, maybe rolling them up and back. You can move the flesh away from those sitting bones and just kind of get nice and comfortable. And we'll close our eyes. Let those shoulders fall away from your ears. And just begin to tune into your breath. Nice, easy inhale through the nose, filling all the way up. Nice, slow exhale. And while you're breathing, you can do a couple of different things here. You could either set one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly and just see if you can get a little deeper connection with your breath. Or if you're ready for just a little bit more movement, you can use your breath in a seated cat and cow. So either way, maybe just keeping the eyes closed. Connecting with your breath. One more breath here. And then just let's take our right hand out to the side, put a little bend into the elbow, sweep the left arm up, and just take a little side bend over. And start to feel the stretch on the shoulder and the side waist. And then come on up on an inhale, set your left hand down to the mat and side bend over to the other side. Or maybe just continue to work from side to side, just kind of here at your own pace. Perhaps using the exhale for the side bend and your inhale to come up. And just kind of waving here back and forth, nice and slow. Synchronizing your breath. Maybe one more time. And make sure you have evened out the sides. And then pausing here in just a neutral seated position. So we're going to do the same thing with the twists. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up overhead, and exhale, twist to your right. Look over that right shoulder. Next inhale, reach up. And on your exhale, twist left. And just continue to work again here with your own breath. A few more times, side to side. The inhale brings you up. And the exhale is your twist. So we don't have to be in time with each other. Just moving here at your own pace. And evening out the sides. Let's just do one last round. And bringing the hands down through the heart center. Perfect. Lowering the shoulders away from the ears. Let's just take the right leg out in front of us. So flexing at the heel, drawing the toes towards you. Your left foot is right in by the thigh. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And on your exhale, hinge and fold forward. Oh yeah, good morning, hamstrings. So super cold days are going to tighten up muscles and tendons. So no bouncing, no overstretching here. Just see where you're at. Another breath. And inhale, reach up. And on your exhale, twist towards the left, so towards your bent knee side, and take your right hand down to that left knee. And inhale, reach up. So you're facing the left side of your room, and we're going to fold forward. Right shoulder is reaching nice and close towards that right thigh. Extending the left arm nice and long. Maybe it comes a little closer to the foot. Stay revolved open. Next inhale, come on up. Perfect. And we're just going to take that little counter twist to the right. And let's bring both soles of the feet together in between. Start to get a feel for how the hips are feeling. And take a nice deep breath. Inhale, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, hinge and fold forward. So again, no bouncing, no extra force here. Next inhale, come on up. And we'll switch legs. So taking the left leg out in front of us, flexing at the heel. Inhale to reach the arms up overhead. When you're ready, you're going to exhale, hinge forward, folding. Reach through the heel, hinge right at the hips. Good morning, hamstring. One more breath. Inhale, come on up. Twist towards the bent knee side, the right side. The left hand comes down to the knee. Fold forward. Stay revolved open. So don't let that right shoulder round forward. Keep it stacked. Lengthening through the right arm, fingertips. Feel that stretch in the side waist. Inhale, come on up. And then go ahead and take your counter twist to the left. Perfect. All right, let's take our legs back to crisscross applesauce. All those teachers out there. Let's take our strap nice and wide, wide as our knees, palms down. Inhale, reach up, and then drop those shoulders into their sockets, and maybe exhale, come back just a little bit to where that is nice and tight across the chest, those pec muscles, shoulders. Inhale, reach up. Kind of take the shoulders up out of their sockets and exhale, lower down. Inhale, reach up. And go ahead and drop back to that tight spot. Use your exhale there. Inhale brings you back up and exhale down. And then just at your own speed, we'll just continue this a few more times. So you find your breath, your pace. We're all going to have different amount of range of motion. One last round. Perfect. So take maybe one end of the strap. I like to take the buckle and reach that strap up with your right hand. And you're just going to reach the left arm behind your back and start to bring your hands together. Hold on to the strap unless your fingertips can clasp. But make sure you can keep the spine nice and tall. So that's the real purpose of the strap here. If you are creating a rounded spine in order to hook those fingertips, that's not really what we're going for. A couple nice deep breaths here. You can walk your fingertips closer to each other or up the strap if that works for you. And then inhale, take the right arm up, and then switch the strap to your left hand. Right hand reaches around, we'll switch sides. Typically, each side will be a little bit different. Using your breath here. Done any amount of snow shoveling or even scraping off of your car, those shoulders might be kind of tight. And then go ahead and release. And take your arms nice and wide here. Extend through the fingertips. And then take your right arm across your left and we'll hook it with the left arm. If you want, you can drop your left hand down to the tricep just to give yourself a little added kind of pull or stretch. And next inhale, reach the arms wide. And left arm reaches across, hooking with the right. A lot of shoulder stretching today. And inhale, reach the arms wide. Take a nice deep breath, sweep the arms up, gaze goes up, exhale, lowering the hands down to the heart space. Do a little bit of hip work. So Just picking up this left foot flex at the ankle. So it's real important to flex at the ankle, and then any amount of cradling that you can do with that leg. So you're drawing the leg and the thigh up towards the chest. And perhaps you can clasp your hands. Again, make sure that you keep your spine nice and tall. Maybe a little rocking here. Now, one thing that might be interesting to do, since we have a little extra mobility here with the shoulders, is take your left arm and reach it through so that you're kind of cradling that leg. Maybe the palms come up and you just, you can interlace the fingers if you want to hold that leg, and just kind of like you're doing a bicep curl. So you're just hugging that leg, thigh a little closer in towards your body, and keep reaching up through the crown of the head to come nice and tall. You should feel a little stretch here in the shoulder as well as the, and go ahead and lower that leg down. And we'll put that left leg on the bottom, pick up the right foot. So just starting with the cradling of that leg. Remember, the two sides can be different. Little rock here, side to side. And if you want to take this right arm to underneath, both arms coming underneath. So you're kind of in this bicep curl stage. So it's really tempting here to round the spine. So you want to sit up as tall as you can and then kind of do that little bicep curl. So you're crunching that leg in a little closer. You should feel stretch into the shoulder. You should feel stretch into the hip. You don't want to feel any stress into the knee. Perfect. All right, release that leg. Let's take both legs out in front. We'll come into stick pose, Dandasana, flex at the ankles, draw the shoulders up and back, set the palms down into the mat. So you're depressing the shoulders down the back by pressing into the mat, lifting up through the crown of the head. So very active pose, draw the navel to the spine. Take a nice deep breath. Next inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And on your exhale, fold forward, intense west facing stretch. So if you want to reach for your feet and that's accessible for you, see if you can drop your hands down to the heels and keep drawing the toes towards you. Keeping a little bit of engagement into those thigh muscles. See if you can relax the back of the neck. And then on your next inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And then we're going to exhale, take the arms down behind you and walk your fingertips back 3-4 inches or so. You want to place your hands right underneath the shoulders with the fingertips facing your sitting bones. Point your toes. We're going to move into intense east facing stretch. So on the next inhale, start to just lift the hips. Maybe gaze up at the ceiling. Draw the legs towards the midline here. And slowly exhale, lowering back down. Perfect. And we'll just do a little final shoulder roll here. So sitting in Dandasana, just shrugging the shoulders up and back. and up and back. Perfect. Let's come on to our hands and knees. We'll start a little bit of a flow this morning, beginning with cat and cow. Inhale to lift the heart, drop the belly. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat pose. One more round. Take your knees wide, big toes together for a wide knee child's pose, and lengthen the arms way out in front of you. Forehead down to the mat. Feel that stretch in the shoulder joint. We've been working on the shoulders, so maybe pressing the armpits down as close to the mat as possible. If you want, you can gaze up at your hands and maybe even rest the chin on the mat. So you're melting your heart down towards the mat. Ideally, you're getting that great stretch into the shoulders, a little bit into the hips. And on our next inhale, we're going to make our way back up to hands and knees. Tuck the toes under, reach the hips back for our first down dog. So here, slight bend to the knees, again, just respecting the super cold weather, and that those hamstrings may just need a little bit more time to lengthen out. Couple breaths here in your down dog. If you would like to pedal the legs out, you certainly can do that, or you can find stillness. On your next inhale, wave out plank. So this is going to start a little bit more active shoulder work. So we'll pause here in our full plank, knitting our rib cage together, strengthening the shoulders. Reach through the crown of the head, through the heels. If this is too much pressure on the wrists, feel free to dip those knees down. Either way. And then slowly lower all the way to the belly, chaturanga. On your inhale, peel up to cobra. Don't press into the hands. Use those back muscles for your back bend, lengthening through the crown of the head. And on our exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Root the hips back. All right, next breath. Inhale, take your right leg and extend it back behind you. Maybe point the toe and lift that leg up as high as you can towards the ceiling. Three-legged dog. See if you can straighten the knee. And on your next breath, draw the knee towards the nose and then reach it back up. We'll just move here like a pendulum a few times. Inhale, reach the knee to the nose. Exhale, take it back. You can kind of find your own pace here, maybe 2 more times. Knee to nose. Inhale up. Last one. This time, take your right foot, set it as close to your right thumb as possible. And then we're going to drop the left knee down. All right, so since we've been working on shoulders here a little bit, we're first going to come on up to just kind of a nice low lunge. And you can set your hands pressing together at the heart space. Take a nice deep inhale and twist to your left. So this left elbow comes outside of that right thigh. You can make a fist here to that top right hand, press into palm. Nice. And on your exhale, take the hands down. We're going to take this right hand. Okay, this is a little tricky. We're going to take this right hand and arm, reach it underneath the right leg. See if you can wrap this right hand on the outside of that right foot. Now, choices here. Stay right where you're at, or start to just wiggle this left leg, or right leg, excuse me, forward. Maybe start to lift it. You're resting that thigh on the back of the arm. Point it forward. Perfect. Set it back down. All right, one more try here. Now we're going to take this right arm, we're going to wrap it behind the thigh here, just as far as you can. And option to take the left arm, reach it back for a bind. Maybe you start to straighten the leg out. Just a nice little forward fold with the arms binding or reaching towards each other. Okay, release that and take the hands forward and step the legs back, plank. And whenever you're ready, we'll lower chaturanga. Inhale, peel up, cobra. And exhale, down dog. So a couple of moments here in your down dog. Evening the breath out. And then we'll switch sides. Left leg reaches up behind you. So you really want to work on the extension of the leg here. And the next breath, knee to the nose. And pendulum it back up. Just work with your breath. Inhale forward. Exhale up. 2 more times. This time, take that left foot by the left hand, and we'll drop the right knee down. And we'll just make our way up to that nice low lunge. Maybe just the hands to the heart space. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, twist to your left. Make a fist with that left hand. Press into that bottom right palm. And then release the hands down to the mat. So kind of the same thing we did on the other side. This left hand comes to the inside of that left thigh. Wrap the shoulder, the hand, the outside of that left foot. I'll see if I can angle here just a little bit. So you're kind of in your low lunge. See if you can make some chaturanga arms. So you're kind of leaning into this. And then you're just going to wiggle that front foot forward, that left foot. Maybe you can straighten the leg, extend through the toes. Little tricep stretch. Perfect. Okay, walk that foot back in. And then you're going to take that bottom arm, wrap it up the thigh as much as possible. You can stay right there, or you can take the right arm back, reach the arms towards each other, the hands towards each other. Option to reach the hips back in the spine, straightening that forward left leg just a little bit. Ooh. Shoulders and hips. All right. Release that bind, take the hands forward. We'll step back, plank pose. Lowering chaturanga. Inhale, peel up, cobra. Exhale, find your downward facing dog. Slight bend to the knees. Look up to your hands. And step or jump your feet forward. Inhale, come on up halfway. Lengthening the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roots rise. We'll come all the way up. Palms meet overhead. And exhale, hands to the heart space. We'll pause here in our Anjali Mudra. We are right a little bit past halfway. Lots of stretching. Shoulders should be feeling pretty good. All right. Drop your hands down to your sides for mountain pose. And we're going to take the right foot and we're going to cross it over the left. Okay, so right over left, legs are straight. The cross is more or less at the ankle. Put your left hand on your left hip. You got it. Right arm reaches up. And this is going to be a little IT band stretch. Just start to bend. So you're kind of pushing that right hip out to the side. You should feel this a little bit in the front leg, the right leg, as you side bend over. Of course, in the side waist as well. Inhale, come on up. Uncross the legs. And we'll switch sides. Left leg over the right. And right hand right here at the hip. So you're gonna inhale, let left arm up. Side bend is towards the elbow, the right side. It's kind of like you're using that right hand to push the hip out. So you're getting all that stretch here on this left side. All right, go ahead and release, uncross the legs. All right, so coming to the top of our mat, we're gonna move through a little flow here. Option for some arm binds. Inhale, reach up, full breath. Exhale, hinge and pulled over. Inhale to your half lift. On your exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands, kick the legs back to plank. Keep the knees lifted or dip the knees down, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, down dog. Take your right leg up high to the sky here. This is three-legged dog. And we're going to step that right foot forward. Go in between the hands. Plant that back left foot Open the arms up to a T, warrior two. Gazes over your right fingertips. Couple breaths here. And then you're going to take this right arm down to the thigh. Extended side angle, left arm comes alongside of the ear. Ideally, you're stacking the shoulders, lengthening in this left side waist. Now the option for the bind would be to drop this right arm off the thigh, drop the left arm back behind your back. Not necessary for you to actually connect the hands. If you can, fabulous. But you want to try to keep this left shoulder stacked over the right. Don't allow the spine to round. And if you bound the arms, release them. We'll come on up to warrior two. And cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Go ahead and step back. Optional vinyasa. Moving with your breath. Coming into down dog. We'll switch to the second side. Left leg reaches up. Three-legged dog. So step that left foot in between the hands. That sets our feet up in one tight rope. Reaching the arms open to warrior two. Hips are open to the long side of your mat. Gazes over your left middle finger. You can drop the shoulders down. And then left forearm down to the thigh. Extended side angle. You can turn your gaze up underneath that right upper arm. You can stay right here. Or if you want to bind, you drop this left arm off the thigh. Right arm reaches behind you. Try to keep the chest open. Really tempting to drop that right shoulder. All righty, if you bound your arms, go ahead and release. Rise up, warrior two. Lengthen through the fingertips. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Cartwheel the hands to the mat. Optional vinyasa. If your vinyasa just wants to be a cat and cow, which is what I'm going to do, feel free to do that. As long as you're still moving with your breath, you're doing yoga. And then let's all meet in down dog. Root the hips back. And look up to your hands. Step your feet forward. Come on up halfway. Hinges at the hips, gazes to the mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Lift all the way up to standing. Palms meet overhead. Exhale, let's just take our hands to the heart space. And find a gazing point straight ahead. We're just going to come into a little warrior three pose, but maybe just keeping those hands right at the heart space. Just start to lift the left leg back behind you. And you're just hinging forward at about the same rate as you're able to reach that left leg back. So just, maybe you come to horizontal or close to horizontal. Try to keep that left hip bone facing down. And let's come on back up. Find your footing here. Samasthiti, same amount of pressure in both feet. Gazing point, we'll switch sides so that right leg reaches back. Hinge forward. Ideally, you're keeping your spine nice and long. Reaching through the crown of the head and the back heel. And pendulum back up to standing. Okay, now a little option here to do those same warriors, but with a little variation in the arms. So remember we did all this shoulder stretching. Let's take the right arm up overhead, bend the elbows. If you could clasp the hands, great. If you need that strap, like we did in the beginning, go ahead and use the strap. So either way. And then we're just going to do that same warrior 3, just with this extra arm version. Kick that left leg back, hinge forward. Ideally, you want to keep that gaze down and the neck long. Inhale, pendulum back up. All right, release the arms. Circle sweep the shoulders around a few times. And then whether using the strap or not, we'll switch sides. Sometimes you can find that you can bind without the strap, but those shoulders have warmed up. Reach the right heel back. Hinge forward. Just go to the point where you have your balance. And pendulum back up. Cool. Release the arms. Roll the shoulders out. All right. From the top of our mat, we'll go through a little vinyasa again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold over. Inhale to your half lift. Bend the knees, plant the hands. Legs go back, plank. Lower, hugging those elbows in towards your rib cage. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, down dog. Let's just take a twist here. We'll take the right leg up behind us, 3-legged dog. Turn and look underneath your right armpit. Maybe start with just extending the leg and trying to stack open the hips. And then if you want, you can bend that top leg for additional stretch. There is an arm bind for this pose, but I don't recommend it. All right, go ahead and recenter the knee towards the mat. Draw it forward for pigeon pose. Scissor the legs towards the midline. You want to evenly space your weight right over both hips. Don't allow yourself to fall onto this right side. And when you're ready, take a more yin version of the pose, folding forward. 2 forearms, or maybe you stack the hands on top of each other. If this pose is ever too tight for your hips, And feel free to roll onto your back and do the upside down reclined version of pigeon. No judgment. Sometimes you just need that different version. Just letting go here. Couple more breaths. Just see if you can soften here a little bit more. Almost like you're melting into the mat. Slow the breathing down. And then very slowly, we'll ease our way back up. Spread the fingers wide, tuck your left toes under, make your way back to down dog. Option to pedal the legs out. And then we'll switch sides. Left leg reaches up, three-legged dog. Take your twist to the left. Try to stack the hips open. And then possibly bend that top left knee, dangling the foot back. Gives you a little bit more stretch. And then slowly rotate the knee to face the mat. Draw the knee forward for pigeon on the other side. I know it's so tempting just to lean on this left hip, but anything you can do to kind of squeeze the legs towards the midline, keep some engagement in the leg muscles, the interior thigh muscles, and then folding forward. Taking some deep breaths here. If this is not a release for you, if this is too intense, again, remember you have options. Rolling onto the back and doing the threading the needle version. As we start to wind down our practice, you want to see if you can slow the breath. And on your next inhale, begin to make your way back up. Tuck your right toes under, step back, down dog. Take the hips back, lengthen the spine. And then let's look up to the hands and just take little steps forward, maybe cross at the ankles, slowly lower to a seated position so that you're the top edge of your mat. And we'll sit here in Sukhasana for just a few breaths. If you want, you can cross that opposite left leg in front or right leg, whichever is opposite for you. Recalling that in yoga, our asana practice is to prepare our mind and body for meditation. Bringing your thoughts inward. Maybe a sense of how your body feels a little different in this Sukhasana pose than when we started our practice. And on your own time, begin to gather the knees in front of you. Maybe give yourself a nice hug. You can just kind of think of this as a kind of an upright child's pose. Maybe bowing the head down towards the knees. If it's okay on your tailbone, you can rock back just a little bit and lift your heels. Tight squeeze. Allow the spine to round. Core engages. Now, option to stay right here if this feels great. You can roll onto your back if you're ready for that. Or if you want just a tiny bit more core work, you can come into a boat pose, lengthening the spine. And go ahead and slowly lower all the way down to your mat. And maybe for sake of all that shoulder work, we reach the arms overhead, interlace the fingers and press the palms away. And then bend the knees, walk your feet towards your sitting bones. And if you want, you can just twist it out here a little bit. It might feel great after those pigeon poses. You choose the speed for whatever is comfortable for you. And then before coming into our Shavasana, our final pose, you can decide if you're ready to go there or if you want to take one additional pose, happy baby or a bridge, perhaps a shoulder stand. A wheel is an option. And as you have completed your practice, your reward is Shavasana. So go ahead and lengthen onto your mat. If you have a blanket nearby, feel free to cover up. Take some time here just to allow the body to soften, to melt into the mat. Very slowly, inviting movement back into your body. You can start with fingers and toes, or you can hug your knees to your chest. Take a nice long stretch if that feels good to you. And then eventually rolling on to your side. Maybe just a little pause here. Using that top hand to press up to a seated position. And we'll bring our hands together at the heart space. I'm giggling because I see Crosby's fur. All right. Thank you for connecting with us today and feeling all this great energy. The light in me honors that same light in each one of you. Namaste. See, you have someone behind you, Lisa.
Oh yeah, she came down. She got out another mat and started doing yoga with me.